Now, we've tried to pretend this is not going on for long enough this morning. We've managed 10 minutes before mentioning there's a federal election campaign underway. The leaders are both in the eastern states this morning, and we have fine political reporters on the spot. Stephen Jedgetts is on the Turnbull campaign trail. He joins us from Sydney, and Matt Doran is following Bill Shorten and is in Cairns this morning. Stephen, we'll start with you this morning, and good morning to both of you. What's happening with the Prime Minister today?
Virginia, this morning the Prime Minister will be campaigning here in Sydney, which is a chilly 9 degrees, uncharacteristically. He'll focus today on cancer, specifically an announcement that if a coalition government is re-elected, it will put $20 million towards helping more children get advanced treatments for cancer. The Prime Minister's approach seems to focus on genome mapping. At the moment, not many children will necessarily have their genome mapped before they have their treatment tailored for them. The Prime Minister's putting $20 million into a new program which would see that essentially rolled out more broadly, allowing more children to have individually tailored treatment for them. We then expect him to spend at least a few more hours campaigning here in Sydney before departing for a destination as yet unknown. It's not surprising he's spending so much time, of course, in New South Wales, because the strategists here in the Liberal side are very worried about 6 seats in New South Wales, Dobell and Robertson up on the Central Coast, Eda Monero down south, and in Sydney's west, Lindsay, where we were campaigning yesterday, and Macarthur. So expect to see the Prime Minister spend a lot of time in New South Wales and in Sydney over the next few weeks.
And on trains, as we've just been seeing. Matt, now over to you now in beautiful Cairns, and I hope it's slightly warmer than 9 degrees where you are. What's expected from the Leader of the Opposition today?
Yeah, I have to point out, Steve, I don't want to make you jealous, but it is a balmy 24 degrees here this morning. It's beautiful temperatures up here in North Queensland. But Bill Shorten is continuing his campaign pitch here. He was, of course, in town yesterday to announce $500 million, a $500 million plan for protecting the Great Barrier Reef from the ravages of climate change. And today he will announce that he wants to allocate $1 billion from the Northern Australia Fund specifically for tourism projects and tourism-related infrastructure. Now, this Northern Australia Fund was announced in the 2015 federal budget by the then Treasurer Joe Hockey. It is meant to be an investment facility for people to apply to build infrastructure such as electricity generation, dams, roads and the like. Bill Shorten wants to see at least a fifth of that devoted solely to tourism projects such as those which might be able to capture the growing Asian tourism market, Indigenous tourism ventures and those that promote the great natural environment that is up here in North Queensland. So that's part of his plan today, because Labor alleges that since this fund was first announced, nothing has happened with it, no new projects have been backed, and they want to try and take the lead here and use that. So we'll be here in Cairns for the morning, then we are jetting off, as Stephen mentioned, destination unknown for the Liberal camp, destination unknown for Labor as well, as Bill Shorten continues his campaigning in this week 4 of the long federal election campaign.
Yes, we know. Matt, can you tell us, we know, I think we have a confirmation now of when the Labor Party's formal launch will be?
That's right. The 19th of June is when Labor will hold its formal campaign launch, and they'll hold it in Penrith in Western Sydney. That's being seen as a key indication that Labor, as the Liberals are really targeting Western Sydney as a battleground area for them in this election campaign. Must also point out that until a campaign launch officially happens, all of the campaigning, all the travelling around the country by the politicians is on the public purse, and once they do officially launch their campaign, in this case June 19, less than or just over 2 weeks out from the election campaign, that's when the party itself has to step in and start funding that last push to the ballot box.
Okay, and Stephen, are we expecting to spot any more rats on the campaign trail this morning? And you can interpret that however you like.
Yes, so do you want to interpret that generously or not?
Yeah, whichever way.
It was look, it was an extraordinary little encounter yesterday. The Prime Minister, I have to say, was completely unfazed by the fact that when he approached Shane Munt in Penrith Shopping Centre, a well-known local there, there was clearly something nestled in Shane's hoodie. Exactly what it was, no one could really tell. And the Prime Minister just blanched a tiny bit when he saw a pet rat emerge. But to his credit, he handled it very well, giving it a little bit of a tickle behind the ear and inquiring. It was a very dog lover sort of question, actually. How old is your rat? Which we learned it was 2.5 years of age, exactly.
Who knew they lived that
as
long?
I mentioned, the Prime Minister, many people... Yes, exactly. Many people might have been unnerved by a small rodent popping out of a hoodie, but not the Prime Minister. He handled it with aplomb.
No, that's because he's used to dealing with rats, as you might have to be if you work in politics. Good to see you both, guys. Thanks so much.